Hello everybody, this is Sir Charles back again with another Vita tutorial. Today we're gonna set up and install, basically format and set up SD2Vita using Mac. So first things first, we got to show hidden files and folders. So you should download this program called Funter. It's a free app. You can get it from the site. I'll link it in the description. Basically what it does is you can toggle on and off showing hidden files. So this is going to be very important later on. We'll get back to that. But for right now, let's plug in our SD card. And while we wait for that, we'll open terminal. So you can Apple space, type in terminal, hit enter, and there's our new terminal window. Okay, so this is our SD card right here. I'm gonna be using a 200 gigabyte SanDisk for this tutorial. So first thing you want to do is type in diskutil list, and this will give you your drives and where your card is. You can tell by the size right here. For me, it's disk 1. This is my SD card. And the next thing we're going to do is we need to unmount the disk first. So diskutil, and then type in unmountDisk with a capital D, and then disk number 1, or in your case, whichever disk number your card is going to be in. So it might be different for you. For me, it's disk 1. And make sure it says it was successful. As you can see, the SD card is now gone from my desktop. And now we're going to type in sudo sudo new fs, new file system underscore exfat. So that's what we need this formatted as. And for 64 gigabyte and under, you could just do a dash capital R, and that'll give you default allocation size. But for 128 gigabyte cards or higher, I recommend doing 64 kilobyte allocation size. So to do that, it's going to be -C and then 128. That's going to give us 128 sectors per cluster, and that'll end up being around 64 kilobytes in the end. This is important because if you don't do this, the Vita will end up reading the data on the memory card incorrectly, and you'll run out of space a lot sooner than you should. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it. So C -C 1 space 128 space, and then we're gonna do /dev/disk, and then you put in your disk number. For me, it's 1. So put in whatever number you got from doing diskutil list earlier, and then hit enter. Type in your password, and you'll see that it's formatting it with 128 sectors per cluster at 500 bytes per sector. That will give you cluster sizes of 65,536 bytes, which is close enough to 64 kilobytes. So that's going to be it. We're going to type in diskutil mount disk, and then your disk number to get your disk remounted. And now you can see your disk right here. So now we're done with terminal. We can open up the SD card here, and get your Vita ready, turn it on, and open Vita Shell. So right now in Vita Shell, you press Start to change USB device to memory card. Same thing if you're copying from the 1 GB internal memory card on Slims. You could also leave it USB device on memory card. And for select button, make sure it says USB. Press Start to save, and then press Select to connect. And now it says connect the system to a PC using a USB cable, so we'll do that now. And you'll see the Vita shows up as a drive right here. So we'll move this to the side. And so basically this is your current memory card, your current UX0 directory. So what we want to do is Apple A, select all, and then hold Apple and unclick these because we don't need those. And so right now I'm going to transfer all of these, but if you don't want to transfer all of your current games and whatnot, you can unselect app meta, and if you have a patch folder, you can unselect the patch folder, and only drag in what you need. So right now I'm going to drag in everything. So yeah, if you want to start fresh, you can just go to your SD card, hit new folder, and name it app, and then only drag in like Vita Shell and h-encore because you'll definitely need those. Same thing with the app meta folder, and if you have a patch folder, the patch folder is just updates. And if you'll notice, see how some of these folders right here on the Vita, they're grayed out? These are hidden files and folders. So if we didn't have those shown with the Funter app, then these would all be hidden right now, and you'd only see these 5 folders right here. So that's all we're going to need to do as far as copying to the Vita. So we can, oh, actually don't eject yet. We're going to leave that right here. There's some stuff you need to transfer to the Vita before we eject it. So I'm going to leave the links for these in the description. There's one VPK homebrew app called SwitchSD2Vita. Make sure you get the 2.0 release because this uses the latest StorageManager plugin. So download that. And I also recommend having the plugin itself just in case anything happens. So this is StorageManager version 2.1. You can also download all of these. It's important to download this readme as well and look into that yourself so you know how it works. So I downloaded those already. They're all right here. We can rename the readme.md to .txt. Use .txt. And if you don't have file extensions shown, you can go to Finder, Preferences, Advanced, and make sure you check this first box for Show All File Name Extensions. That way you don't accidentally have double file extensions or something. So with our Vita open, not the SD card, the Vita, let's close the SD card right now. On the Vita, if you don't already have a VPK folder, you should make one. Just right here, new folder, name it VPK. This is just for transferring stuff that you might need. So I already copied these earlier, but you're gonna select these 3, copy them over. I'm gonna replace all of these. Okay, so now you have these 3 files on your Vita. right here, this hard drive. So we're done with that. We can exit and make sure you eject the Vita. As well as the SD card, we're done with that for now too. Okay, so that's gonna be it. We're basically done on the Mac, but before I switch over to Vita, there's one more important thing. You should always make sure you have a legit SD card. I've run into problems with fake SD cards before while hacking for other people, and there's a program called F3X for Mac, Fight Flash Fraud. You can run this to check any flash storage drives or devices to make sure they actually have the amount of storage that they say they have. So you should get this right here. You can download the latest version. I'll leave this in the description as well. If you have any problems with your card, just run this test to make sure they're legit. And yeah, that's it. But I always recommend buying from Amazon because they have a pretty good return policy if you do end up getting a faulty card. So that's going to be it for now. So now we're going to switch over to the Vita, and I will see you there. Okay, so now we are back on the Vita, and you can close the USB connection if you still have it connected, but on this home screen right here, Vita Shell, if you didn't know, you can press triangle and mount IMC0, that's the internal memory for Vita Slims, and yeah, that'll mount it as another partition if you already have a Vita memory card installed, so you can have them both mounted at the same time. But normally, if you don't have a Vita memory card installed on your Slim, then it will show up as UX0 right here. That's going to be your internal memory. You can see the size right there is 1 gigabyte. So right now we're going to go into that UXO. And with Mac, it makes these stupid folders right here. If you can see right here is Spotlight, Trashes, and sometimes there's one called like F7 or something like that. And this file down here too, ._trashes. So you can press square on those to highlight them, triangle, and delete those. That's just one annoying thing about connecting your Vita to the Mac with USB. So we're going to go into VPK that we had earlier, and like you can see that it also made ._ files. They're all 4 kilobytes in size for the files that we transferred over. So I'm going to delete those as well. And there's the 3 files that we need. So if you're comfortable with type URO type plugins, you can just copy this over yourself. But to make this easier, I'm just going to use this SwitchSD2Vita VPK. Press X and so forth to install it. And before we go there, let's go back to the main screen and then URO and open the URO Thai folder. As you can see, there's nothing in here right now, and your config file should look similar to this, with maybe without the spaces. I just made the spaces to make it easier. If you press the right arrow on the D-pad, it can enter a line, so you can do that in between each one of these right here. Anyways, alright, we can close Vita Shell for now, and here is our new SwitchSD2Vita app. If you open that, and right now we're just going to test installing the formatted memory card. So here's our memory card that we just formatted. Let me take it out and pop it in the adapter. This is the 3.0 adapter. I found that it works fine, but I always recommend getting the latest one, which is the 5.0. Both actually from version 2.0 up, they come with an eject feature, but the version 1.0 doesn't. So yeah, right now, using the SwitchSD2Vita app, we're going to install to UMA0. That means the memory card right here is going to be installed as extra storage, since we don't know if there's any problems with it yet. You want to test first before installing it to our UX0, which is main memory. So you can install it to UMA0 or XMA0, XMC0, either one. I usually prefer UMA0. So we're going to exit right now this, and we'll check back in Vita shell. And in the URO tie folder, you'll see that it added the StorageManager plugin by itself and the config file. If you open that, it says GCD, that's game card for the adapter, and it says the mounting point UMA0 right there. If you want the game card and your memory card mounted at the same time, you can add an extra line. Enter right here, and I believe it's MCD and equals and UX0. So, and then we can save that. Okay, so make sure you read that readme from the plugins page earlier, so you know the actual mount points and your partitions or whatever. So yeah. And if we check the config file, you'll see that written under kernel, it added the plugin line by itself. So we don't need to do that. The app handled it. But make sure you add this memory card as UXO for the main memory. Alright, so now we can press start, power off the Vita, and we can plug in the adapter. Oh, I have a game in here. So plug in the adapter. Make sure it's all the way seated and the memory card isn't sticking out. With the version 5, there's no problem with the flap closing. With the version 3, it kind of bulges out a little bit on the slim at least. So there's that. Alright, now we can turn on the Vita again. And this time when we open Vita shell, you'll see that it shows under UMA0. And then we can switch it to UX0 later. So open Vita shell. I forgot to run h-encore. This is a Vita on 3.3.68. So yeah, you can just run it and exit. You don't need to hit install Henkaku every time. You just open it and close it. Alright, so now if we go all the way back, you'll see right here, UMA0 is 57 megabytes, right there, 183 gigabytes. So that is our SD card. So let me delete these stupid Mac files. Alright. And now we can go into URO and change the SD mount point to UXO. So you can either do this using Vita shell right here. We can just change UMAO to UXO, and then the memory card to UMAO, It's as easy as that when you want to switch back and forth between the memory card and the game card. I'll also add one more line for the internal memory. IMC, I believe it is. Let me double check real quick. No, it's INT. So the internal memory is capital INT. And then equal sign. And we're going to make this IMC 0. And make sure you hit the 2 arrows right here to save the line. So now we have the first line is the game card as UXO main memory. The memory card, if you have one, will be UMA0. And then your internal memory will be IMC0. So that'll all automatically be mounted every time you start Henkaku. So save, yes, and you can also just use the SwitchSD2Vita app and switch to UXO or click auto switch, either way. So now we'll reboot. And once we open h-encore, it should mount the memory card as UXO, which is your main memory. So if we open Vita Shell now, let's see right here, UXO, and it shows it as 200 gigabytes. So that's it. Mission accomplished. We have the SD card as main memory, and here you can see the internal memory card is mounted as IMC0. So that's what we were using before is the internal memory. And if you have a Vita memory card, it'll show up as UMA0, but I don't have one of those in here right now, so. That should be it. Thanks for watching, and good luck. If you have any questions, just put them in the comment section. I'll try to help whatever I can. And my next video, well, I'm trying to do a series of Vita hacking videos, so basically like A to Z, Vita hacking 101 thing. So this is part 2. Part 1 was installing h-encore, and we'll see how it goes from there. The next video, hopefully I'll try to do a homebrew pack, which I'll just have it saved to my Google Drive account, so you can just download all the homebrew that you'll need, like an essentials pack, and I'll try to keep it updated and everything. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.